All right, it is turn 26 in this Hypnotic Specter game series. We are playing Jotunheim in the Middle Ages. This is going to be a shorter video than the last video. If you're interested in knowing kind of a strategic readout, go to the turn 25 video and see a full breakdown of all the different magics that we're going to use around conjuration, kind of some long-term strategy that we're going for. For this turn, however, it's going to be fairly transactional. We claim the Throne of Life, so we have the Throne of Life. We found some magic sites, again, just working on our gem economy and getting that up because, as I've said, we are relying very heavily on national summons, summoning in sacred units, more sacred units. So let's see. The one interesting battle was that there was a siege in Glistening Dew Forest. Nabas sieged Nazca. So let's watch that battle. Not too many units, but Nazca has pretty large set of Janguard. They're sacred units. They're sacred giant units. I really like Nazca. Let's see what their bless is. Flaming weapons, solar weapons, mount survival, affliction resistance, inspirational +1, and leadership +50. So very heavy in the fire damage. So if we ever end up fighting Nabaa, if we lose the non-aggression pact, we'll be well suited to take them on, given all of the preparation we've done for getting fire resistance and getting units that can deal well with that. So, and they're going to pretty well clean that up. So Nabaa is doing us a solid favor of fighting with Nazca. You know, they took minimal losses and they wiped out a pretty substantial fighting force. Unexpected events, nothing too interesting. Units got younger thanks to the Throne of Life. Here we are on Jotunheim in the south. As I said last time, we need to start preparing for war against our human opponent. We're here, we've got a nice dividing line in a river that splits my human opponent, who is on Machaca. They have wrapped up their war in Vanheim. I expect them to siege this down probably this turn. So we've got to scout in that province to see exactly what they have. But for our strategy, what we are working on now, let's just start with our war with Nazca. This is Glistening Dew Forest, where that battle just occurred. You can see Nabaa successfully took it. Next turn, we are going to attack into Witchhaven, and we are going to attack into Nazca. My thought process there is, since we didn't receive a message from Machaca, we can move into Witchhaven with this force, Nazca with this force, and then we can wrap around with Bulwark, Beliffa, Falador, Feral Woods, and just kind of clean up the rest of Nazca's provinces. So once we once we take Nazca's capital or start sieging it, we can cut off their income and potentially be in a more interesting position. The fact that they have these two farmland provinces is interesting too, as well as potentially taking this neutral with a relatively small force compared to what we've been working with. We could probably take that with like 10 sacreds, honestly. So I don't want to get too greedy, but I do want to start collecting additional provinces because in anticipation of losing some province income. Specifically when we go to war with Machaca. And I was kind of gaming this out. And this first point, staging provinces, is that my anticipation is we are going to be staging units in Strong Bay and Panofia. And the reason for that is that from Strong Bay, we can attack into the Trolllands. We can also threaten and project force into Linshire or Gaeta. So without crossing this boundary. So we're going to start having units here in Strong Bay. We're going to kind of see what Machaca does in response. And then kind of in the north, we're going to start staging units in Panofia. I think we'll be able to easily take this force. Depending on what they do with this force, I expect them to kind of come down through this area. But by that point, we will have so much summons and ability to produce units in Anidra and Huberton and Jotunheim that it will not be an issue. So we'll be able to really defend our western borders pretty easily. And then in the north, we're not too worried about Shin, and Nabon I currently have a non-aggression pact. So again, I'm not sure when we're going to stop with Nazca. It's kind of dependent on when Machaka declares war on us. Because we played from behind with the bad expansion phase, we are just going to let Nabad dictate, or Nabad, Machaka dictate the turn where they break the non-aggression pact. We have a one-turn non-aggression pact. So. All right, let's look at a few other important things. I was looking at this site, steel ovens, massive resource bonus and a construction bonus of 20. And when I read this initially, like I didn't do the mouse over the tooltip. I thought, I wonder if that applies to forge items. Well, if you mouse over it, there is a tooltip that says all rituals from the School of Construction as well as the forging of magic items will cost 20% less gems in this province. So yeah, that's a pretty good site. We are working towards Alteration 5 right now, and then we're switching to Construction 5. And at which point I expect to have a much better gem income to start producing magic items, boosters specifically. So this is going to be something that we're going to take advantage of this game. I'm not entirely sure, how long this game's going to go, but we're going to try to take advantage of that. The other site that we have that's providing us with a bonus, and probably the more important bonus, is House of Dreams. Conjuration bonus 20. All rituals from the School of Conjuration will cost 20% less gems cast from this province. We got lucky and got a bonus, gold injection from an unexpected event. We used that to cast or to build the laboratory in Hubberton last turn, and now we have this Yarn Vidya casting summon Glossos on monthly ritual. So we're going to be producing the sacred boars out of Hubberton, and then out of Jotunheim we're casting the brood of Garm. And so we're going to be producing the sacred wolves out of Jotunheim. And then on top of that, of course, we're doing our standard, 5-unit sacred recruitment. We're banking 270 gold this turn in anticipation of doing some infrastructure investment next turn. Actually, I'll just talk about that now. It's down here. We already talked about the Nazca offensive infrastructure specifically that I'm considering. I'm debating whether or not to put up a fortress in Glistening Wood. I don't know how much we would expand on it. This river is going to freeze over as the scales increase in this province, so we will be able to reinforce from Mir. So I'm a little less concerned about getting a fort on this throne, but it would just help us secure it. It does feel a little bit overkill. The other infra I'm debating is getting a temple in Glistening Woods. Glistening Woods is obviously important to hold, so we'll always be in a position to reinforce it. We need to do some PD dump here. Actually, let's just do that now. So it would be nice to get a temple in Glistening Woods just to continue to push our dominions further into Machaka here and here. It's interesting that we're closer there. So yeah, infrastructure in Glistening Woods, that's going to cost quite a bit of money. We're already pretty cash strapped because we've been recruiting these Ulf Hedens, and I probably should be still recruiting more of these. Actually, it's expensive to play big Chad Giants. So I'd take that back. We're not going to bank any. We do need to get some more infrastructure up, and that could bite us by not getting it up earlier. I'm already a little bit slow out the gates on research. Our research is only 90 RP per month right now because I have my God casting brood. I have some Gaijas doing forging for some basic items. I'm trying to prep this guy to run the arena. So, that could easily come back and bite us, is not investing in more researchers, not investing in the right infrastructure. I also debated putting a fourth fort in Dershid. It'd be nice to have a fort in Dershid just to be able to produce fort units, and also just continue to project force. Like Machaka put up this one in Numecria, which hits on two of his cap circle provinces and pulls from that. He's probably getting really good resource income from this site, as well as administrative bonuses and cash from Linshire, or excuse me, from Peskin. And then he's probably looking at Linshire as, someplace that he'd like to take. We know that Linshire has good income. So yeah, that's turn 26. Hopefully this is shorter than the last one. If you have tips, advice, feedback, input about how to better, script Jotunheim, I'm all ears. Drop me a comment, shoot me a message in any of the Discord channels. All right, take it easy.